Reports are finally out about Donnie McKirkland and the lawsuit. And you guys, I honestly have just one question. Is the Black church under attack, or are the skeletons finally coming out of the closet? And who saw the whole blow up with Pastor Jamal Bryant, his wife, in that infamous dress? And so I'm curious, are you a pop culture in the news chasing the headlines type of person, or should we all just let this blow over? Plus, Plan to Podcast is looking for ambassadors, so I want to talk to you guys about what does that look like for those of you who are interested. Netflix is set to launch podcasts on their streaming platform come this January. And so stay tuned. We're touching all of those things. But first, got to give a shout out. One more time for the one time. That is the Whole City Hustle podcast. And if you want your podcast to be featured on this live stream, definitely reach out to us. Information can be found on our website, Plan to Podcast, and I'll drop that link for you guys. Make sure you take note, plantopodcast.com. So we are doing our first batches of podcast shout outs on our platform. That closed yesterday at 5. Of course, we're going to be opening with a podcast directory. So if you want information to that, never hesitate to reach out. So community MVPs, before we dive in, our community MVPs, we want to give a special shout out to some of our moderators. Well, not some, all of our moderators. So shout out to Marquise and his wife. They are responsible for the You Stuck With Me podcast. And I'm dropping their links right now under this live. So you have easy access to the links. You have easy access to ways to stay in touch with us. And you have access to some of the videos that I'm sharing during this live. So it should be, oh, I see. All right, I am trying one more time to add them. So shout out to Marquise. Marquise is one of the moderators in the Plan to Podcast Facebook community. He also is a part of our Podcast Peers virtual meetup group that we have every Saturday, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So shout out to him of the You Stuck With Me podcast. His link is available in the chat. Shout out to Jonathan Emery. Jonathan is also a moderator, and he has his podcast as well. So we dropped all of that in the chat. I'm trying to, they don't make it easy. So we have to try to make our links easy, accessible for you. All right, so that's in the chat. Jonathan Emery, his podcast to me is incredible because everything that he's gone through to get to where he's at in life. So he's the host of Life's Checkmark podcast. His link is in the description or comment section of this video. And then DC, What the Stuff podcast, all incredible human beings with amazing platforms. Shout out to them. In this live, we try to do community shout outs, the realest MVPs within our community. So shout out to the 3 of my moderators of Plan to Podcast. Again, if you want to join us in the community, plantopodcast.com for access. But you guys, I started off with a question. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Is the Black church under attack, or are the skeletons finally coming out of the closet? I want to know. Drop your comments. Of course, we saw everybody all gung-ho about Jamal Bryant, his wife in that dress. And then Donnie McKirkland is coming out with some serious, heavy allegations. So I want to ask your thoughts about all of that. I will share this quick video. It's going to be quick, y'all. Happy Friday Eve, by the way. And hopefully your New Year's or New Year is starting off on the right foot. So, all right, y'all.
Gospel superstar Donnie McClurkin. And I'm not a lawyer, but I read the 15-page complaint, so let me walk you through exactly what is being alleged. Trigger warning, this lawsuit contains allegations involving sexual assault, sexual battery, and coercion. So this is your warning. Okay, so the lawsuit was filed.
All right, that's it. That is all. Y'all go find the rest. I dropped the link already under this video, like I said before. So it should be easily accessible under the huge shout out posts to our moderators. And yeah, let me see. Because I definitely had it all set up so it was easily accessible. But of course, I'm not seeing it. But anyhow, tell me what you think. Secondly, we're looking for regional managers. I was supposed to be live earlier within community and share this, but I figured I would combine everything and do it all at once. So what does it mean to become a regional manager? So we're scaling. Plan to Podcast is a community, like I said, of podcasters who are looking to launch, grow, and monetize, and very big on the scalability. Like, how can we all together come out and do the things that we need to do as a collective, represent for podcasters? How can we all scale our brand and, all of the things? So first things first, regional managers. Think of it as Eventbrite meets Luma.com meets Meetup.com, but it's for podcasters, exclusive to us. And I'm looking for people who are wherever part in the world you are, whatever region you're in, for you to be the ambassador for Plan to Podcast and podcasters near me. It's an opportunity, like I say, to galvanize people in your local community, your local area, people who are excited about podcasting. We need you to help relay that information about the resources that we have available to them. And then when it comes to wanting to collaborate and connect with people in your region, in your circle, whenever Plan to Podcast is traveling to your city, we want to know that you'll be there and we can plan events together. Events may include, but not limited to, podcast pop-ups, live shows, just small, intimate collaborations and recordings. So if you want to be a part of something as big as Podcasters Near Me, as an ambassador, we'll give you materials on how to facilitate meetings. We'll be there with some of those pop-ups. So you'll have our full support. It's probably at most a 2-hour monthly commitment. Provided we actually do a live event, then it may be upwards of 10 hours for that month with planning, potentially travel to a location in your area, help you host and facilitate events, perhaps batch recording content same day or whatever type of mixer. So if you are all game for putting on events like that with Plan to Podcast in partnership with our partners, Too Hot Radio, and then with your fellow podcast peers, then definitely reach out. The best way, again, for you to reach out is plantopodcast.com. There's a contact button for you to get in touch with us. Actually, top right says ask a question, and you can use that to send me an instant email. So that's for quick reference. But yes, that's a part of the regional manager, brand ambassador opportunity. And again, we're looking to scale. So how does that help you scale as a podcaster? Notoriety. People trust you as a person who's great for putting on events, for collaborating on projects, and then providing podcast resources. And then you do that in community with partnership and under the umbrella of Planta Podcast. So thank you for your inquiries in advance. We look forward to having you. And then let's see, we already did the shout outs, the community MVPs. We just shared with you that video of Donnie McClurkin. Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix real quick. Hopefully you guys haven't been living under a rock, but if you have, this is what this live stream is intended for, to kind of bring you guys up to speed. But this January, Netflix is officially launching podcasts on the platform, but not just audio only. It's like a streaming platform for vodcasting, meaning you'll be able to watch them right there on Netflix alongside regular shows, series, and movies. And here's why this is important for creators and podcasters alike. The rollout starts in January of this year. So sometime, I think it was the 23rd or the 26th, with major podcasts from big names and networks appearing in the first weeks of the year. Netflix teamed up with companies like iHeartMedia, Spotify's The Ringer, and Barstool Sports to bring video versions of their most popular podcasts to the platform. This means shows like the Bill Simmons podcast, Pardon, My Take, My Favorite Murder, and more will be available to stream on Netflix like TV content, not just through podcast apps. So the content will look like regular Netflix programming, but it's still podcasting only, and now a part of the streaming platform. So I can report more on that probably in a later podcast episode. I have already reported on like the merger between Netflix and Spotify like 2 months ago. So that's available up on my YouTube channel. Links are all accessible, like I said, plantapodcast.com. But I'll unpack that some more in an upcoming episode for sure. I think, you guys, I just wanted to show face and say hello. I'm committed today to getting everything that I needed to get done. And so I was supposed to be on that 12 o'clock meeting talking about brand ambassador opportunities. And then I was supposed to be on earlier today at 2 instead of 2:30. But this fills up the 30-minute time with what we've shared so far. Yeah, I think so. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, if this time is a good time to go live. If you're interested in launching your own podcast, let me tell you who would be great at podcasting, just personality type or career, your background. So if you are an educator and you've been teaching for a long time, you may start a podcast and decide this is the perfect fit for you because you're comfortable sharing information, providing resources, and taking people through steps A through Z for the most part, right? So I think education, podcasts, and platforms are extremely helpful. You see those are often platforms that are pushed on the algorithms. If you can provide people with education and tools, that's what we're all kind of searching for, always trying to evolve personally and professionally. And so if you're comfortable teaching, you might decide to start a podcast. It doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. It can be something you do 5 minutes per episode and just give a quick blurb, a quick tip, but also still be able to monetize from podcasting. If you are a coach or a consultant, meaning you've been in your field for multiple years and you are now the expert on a particular topic, and you're working with people directly to help them transform or provide them a solution, then you should definitely start a podcast to help market your product, brand, or services. If you're a culture consultant, likely your services. If you are a music artist and you want a way to touch the people and talk to them about your music and what goes on behind the scenes with creator development and the artistry in general, start a podcast, use it as a marketing tool. This is just one of the many touch points where you want to meet your audience where they're at. And again, you can repurpose your content that you already have on other platforms. You can do little segments or little episode or a little series on your podcast and let that be for a full season, typically 12 to 13 episodes in one season. I'd say that there really isn't any industry that a person can't benefit from starting a podcast. And in fact, I think, and I like to compare social media to podcasts. Well, social media is, a podcast also can be considered social media, but I mean, influencing, creating, typically what you see on most social media platforms. One extension of that could be your podcast, because again, we're trying to monetize in every which way possible. We're trying to market more, and we're establishing ourselves as experts. And so to find our people and build our community, you can do that through podcasting. It's fairly simple to get started. My rule of thumb, start with a podcast plan. A podcast plan meaning, what topics will you cover? Did you check to make sure the title is available? Did you check all of the directories on social media, the business directories? Did you buy the business license? How are you organizing all of your files and documenting the process at every hand? What are your brand colors? What's your brand identity? What audience do you serve? All of that goes into the planning of your podcast. Before you jump off the stoop, you need to have those things in place. So the value of having a podcast plan is it takes all of your ideas, puts them on paper. In this case, we're using a Google form that I created that comes with your answers and a custom GPT prompt. Combining those two things basically tells ChatGPT to create a roadmap, step A, B, or C, or week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everything from, like I said, the title, the format, the tools, it just makes it very clear for you and your goals for your podcast. And then what we do with that is we match that with my expertise, my community, and I'll say our community, because it is our community, but you match that with my expertise, our community, and the available resources that we curate for you. And that's how you basically get started. I make myself extremely accessible. You can even call me right now if you want to schedule an appointment, 253-349-2134. This is just something free for you to decide whether or not you and I are compatible and if there is anything that I can do to help you. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say go back to that free plan, so you can find it on the website, plantopodcast.com. Look for the audit, or in the yellow rectangle, the first thing you see is Start a Podcast Tools. So you would click that and it would take you exactly where you should be. But yeah, certainly podcasting has a way of establishing you as an expert, sharing your knowledge and information, building your community, marketing your tools, product, or brand. Your services, product, or brand. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, with the exception of Wednesday, I'm here 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk podcast news. We're going to talk podcast tips. I'm going to give shout outs to the members of my community. Plan to Podcast. We're growing. We have 3,000 members, upward and counting. Again, we're looking for brand ambassadors who want to be a part of the team. So, touching the people, street team style content, live podcast shows, live recordings, collaborations, everything to help you scale as individuals and as a part of this community. I talked about very briefly, what did you guys think about the Donnie McClurkin situation that's unfolding, and everybody who was up in arms about Jamal, his wife in that dress? Comment below to tell me what your thoughts are. And after that, I'm going to drop off, you guys. 30 minutes, if that. Typically, we try to go for an hour. Sometimes it will be shorter. And make sure you tap in. I'm going to drop this one more time in the chat, and I'm out. Audi 2000, Audi 2000, Audi 2000, yeah, today. All right. This will be available after I end, so you guys could go to that website and catch the replay and have access to those links. And the website is here. All right. Peace.